On the news tonight, residents applaud road maintenance drive of Ondo State government as Operation Zero Potholes gains momentum. Head-on collision claims 20 lives in Oyo State. Entrepreneur predicts 2023 general election as turning point for Nigerian youth. Buckingham Palace announces dates for late Queen Elizabeth burial, officially proclaims King Charles as new monarch. Thank you very much for joining us tonight on the news. I am Oyewumi Ayinigbera. The call by residents of Akure on government to fix potholes on strategic roads in Ondo State capital is now gaining attention as road users now applaud the repair works being done in some parts of the town. Osrc during visits to some affected areas observed contractors working on the roads, while some others have been marked for necessary actions, and yet some others have already been fixed. Omoriola Ongbeji reports that residents of other areas are longing for intervention on field portions of roads in their locality. We'll bring you the details in the course of the bulletin. At least 20 passengers were burnt to death when a bus collided with another vehicle and caught fire in Oyo State. Police said the accident at Lanlate in Ibarakwa area of the state was a fatal accident with 20 human bodies burnt beyond recognition. Chairman of Ibarakwa, Binga Obalo, said the vehicles involved in the accident had a head-on collision and caught fire, burning beyond repair. He said 2 people with severe burns survived the crash and have been taken to the hospital. A senior police officer in the state confirmed the crash and blamed the accident on reckless driving. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the takeover of the Gombe State Airport by the federal government. Governor Muhammad Yahya of Gombe State made the disclosure while addressing State House correspondents after a meeting with the president. He explained that the move would ensure the availability of funds to maintain the facility throughout the lifespan of its operation. Recently, officials of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority inspected facilities at the Gombe International Airport and certified it for the airlift of Muslim pilgrims in the state to Saudi Arabia in June. According to him, the Nigerian Air Force is building an Air Force base on the airport premises, while additional facilities are expected to enhance management and business activities. A former member of the Ondo State House of Assembly, Mr. Olumide Araoyinbo, has officially commenced his tenure as president of Ondo Chambers of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture. At his inauguration, alongside other members of the executive, Mr. Araoyinbo pledged to synergize relevant stakeholders to boost the economic prosperity of the state. Osrc's Saeed Aribisala reports that the chambers awarded Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and outstanding entrepreneurs for contributing to the state's economic development.
The inauguration and swearing-in ceremony of newly elected President Mr. Olumide Araoyinbo and other members of executives of Ondo State Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Ondo SIMA, was a perfect setting for individuals bonded by the desire to improve the state's economy. Administration of the oath of office by Ondo State Chief Judge Justice Williams Akintoroye on the new executives marked the official commencement of their reign.
And that I will protect and defend the Constitution of the Chamber. So help me God.
The new president, Mr. Olumide Araoyinbo, who is a former majority leader of the Ondo State House of Assembly, pledged to collaborate all stakeholders to elevate the economy of Ondo State.
We continue to, move forward in the area of collaborating with government to make sure that ease of doing business is something that we can write into in Ondo State. And at the same time, I will, as much as possible, try my best in making sure that our members, enjoy, the dividends of the chamber.
Immediate past President Modupe Olakunle, while giving account of her stewardship, thanked members for their cooperation during her tenure and enjoined them to avail unflinching support for the new president.
During my tenure, the State Chamber was properly registered with NASIMA and our registration with Corporate Affairs Commission was effective. And not only that, the NAWAC and NY brought to the state during the period have been functioning well and their impact being felt all over the places.
The national president, Nigerian Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Ide Udiagbala, represented by Deputy President Dele Oye, and other stakeholders expressed confidence in the leadership of Mr. Araonyebo.
And why we should all be focused. Let's leave politics out of it, okay? So that we focus on the business and cutting the deals. I'm very proud of this thing that is coming up.
And let me assure you that this government will continue to support the development of commerce. We will continue to support the development of industries.
China, India, all over the place. SMEs are the drivers of the economy. So government has recognized it. They have to redouble their efforts. We in the organized private sector have to work with government. We have to ensure that the organized private, the SMEs are properly funded.
Getting the right people and getting them to do the work and do the work honestly has been a great challenge.
The event was sandwiched with a presentation of Undosima Award of Recognition and Excellence to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and some outstanding entrepreneurs. Guests on the occasion were thereafter hosted to a dinner as the new executives begin to pilot the affairs of Undosima, which is made up of 6 chambers: Akure, Akoko, Ondo, Owo, Ilaje, and Ileoluji. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
And now back to the first story on the Ondo State road maintenance and the call by residents of Akure on government to fix potholes on strategic roads in the state is now gaining attention as road users now applaud the repair works being done in some parts of the town. Osrc, during visits to some affected areas, observed contractors working on the roads, while some others are being marked for necessary actions, and yet some others have already been fixed. Omoriola Ongbeji now brings the reports.
Some of the roads captured by OSRC's camera lens include Arakale, Ondo Road, Okearo, Fanibi Road, Adegbola Yedun Axis, Agagu Road, among others. At Arakale, contractors were on ground fixing the potholes causing gridlock for road users in the area, while some spots at Agagu Road are already being prepared for filling with major parts already fixed. General maintenance at Fanibi Road down to Ondo Road have been completed, while contractors are fixing Adegbola to Ayedun Road. Residents expressed gratitude to Ondo State government for the road maintenance drive.
Much appreciated the government, not only me, others. This is what we expect from the government. Actually, the government cannot please the whole masses. This is the best thing the Akere is doing. It takes the priority of the masses so much, not only on road, on other infrastructure, all that work. It's doing both water, both electricity, everything. You know, one person cannot please the masses. We appreciate him so much. He's doing fine.
There is a difference. For now, the present situation, you can't compare it with how it was before. At least you can see that vehicle, bike and Okada, they are driving on it perfectly now without any disturbances. So it's a good commendation on the part of the present administration. He has done well in this area.
Meanwhile, residents in some areas, including Odiolo, are calling for inclusion in the road maintenance efforts.
It's not good at all because we are just managing the road since the road spoiled. So we are begging government to come and help us to repair it.
Another place.
kan tẹ jọ tó Ọlọ́run lóde olówó wa sharp corner odolowo mi ba kan help wa kan jọ daddy wa Keti kan tẹ ṣàánú wa.
Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Infrastructure, Allen Idowu assured residents that all road projects embarked upon by government while general maintenance of roads continues.
Patching potholes and the general maintenance of our road has just been commenced by this administration. If you go to Cashhold Junction, that's along Arakale, starting from Cashhold all the way to Nepa roundabout, all to ShopRite, you will see that also all the potholes have been patched. Very soon we'll be commencing Danjuma to Okiaro, that loop. We'll be commencing Odiolowo, the loop there, and among several other roads.
He appealed to residents and motorists to bear with the state government, urging them to drive carefully while the roads are being fixed. Omoriola Humbeji, OSRC News.
You're still watching OSRC News at 7 after the break. Entrepreneur predicts 2023 general election as turning point for Nigerian youth. These and many more. Please stay with us.
Announcing the world-class secondary school, the Royal Ambassadors College, Akure, provides Nigerian-British curriculum, personalized teaching, where every child's peculiarity is catered for, state-of-the-art learning facilities, preparation for international examinations such as SDT, TOEFL, conducive teaching and learning environment, local and foreign excursions, qualified teachers, boarding facilities of international standard, and midday meal for day students. Royal Ambassadors College, Kilometer 1, Benin or Highway, after Federal Girls College, Akure, Akure North Local Government Area, Ondo State. Hurry now for admission into JSS 1-2 and SSS 1 classes. Enquiries 090-3253-1766 or 081-46-303-496. Email info@royalambassadorscollege.com. Website www.royalambassadorscollege.com. Royal Ambassadors College, citadel of godliness and knowledge.
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook OSRC TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. Despite being denied a chance to learn due to the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, some undergraduates are contributing towards improving the education of secondary school students in Nigeria. It's a case of students who have been compelled to become teachers, as the ASU federal government impulse shows no end in sight. Meanwhile, Nigerian entrepreneur and economist Atedo Peterside is of the opinion that young Nigerians will set the agenda for the next general elections in the country. Mr. Peterside said with an electorate made up of mostly young individuals, one can be certain that their impact will be felt on the outcome of the polls. According to him, the fundamental change that has taken place ahead of 2023 is that the youth are now highly politically active and cannot wait for the polls to get underway. Mr. Peterside further asserted that paradigms are shifting in the political landscape of Nigeria, with the major parties not having the foothold they once had on the populace. In his view, the ideal president of Nigeria come 2023 must be one who has a high energy level, quick on his feet and ready to move to fix what needs fixing. 2 weeks after the were declared missing by the families, 2 of 3 guests at a wedding ceremony at Isiala Mbano local government area of Imo State have been released by kidnappers. The victims are Collins Anefula, Madu Promise and Victor Chibuike. It was gathered that the 2 released victims reportedly paid ransom before they were left off the hooks by their kidnappers. Brother to one of the victims, Fortune, said his sibling Promise and 1 other were released on Friday night by their abductors. It is not immediately clear why the 3rd person was not freed. Meanwhile, 4 people were reportedly killed in separate attacks by suspected others on 2 communities in Guma local government area of Benue State. Several houses were also said to have been razed by the Meridian herders. Last week, 9 people were killed in separate attacks in the same Guma area by suspected herders. The latest attacks that happened on Friday and early hours of today, locals said the suspected herders invaded several communities and killed 4 people. Confirming the attacks, chairman of the local government, Mike Uba, said 4 people were killed in the attacks. And I will bring you the full report on the ASU student-teacher story. And despite being denied a chance to learn due to the lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, some undergraduates are contributing towards improving the education secondary school students in Nigeria. It's a case of students who are being compelled to become teachers as the ASU federal government impulse shows no end in sight. Osrc Saeed Aribisala has the reports.
For more than half of year 2022, Odunlade Ademiju has been away from his citadel of learning at Obafemi Awolowo University due to the lingering strike by Academic Staff Union of Universities. Despite being denied an opportunity to continue his education, the 300-level student of the Department of Urban and Regional Planning has found love in teaching mathematics to secondary school students during the summer holiday.
At least now I've spent like 6 to 7 months at home on strike issue. It's really affecting us. Some of my youth affected by ASU strike, if they can just come back again teaching students, I think that one also will refresh and bring out their brain.
Like him, Esther Funshaw, a final year mass communication student of Adekunle Ajashin University, Akungbakoko, and some other undergraduates put time and resources together to groom secondary school students for academic excellence.
We just feel this need to impact lives. So that's why we are here to just engage our younger ones and do something. Instead of staying home idle, we'll be idle, they would be idle. We are losing on the two parts, so we just have to do something. After leaving classes, we still go to some places to learn skills.
Though the protracted ASU strike and the unending impasse with the federal government has led them to an uncharted path, their exposure is providing them an opportunity to correct noticeable flaws in these young minds for societal development.
Just notice that the majority of our secondary students, maybe I would say what their brothers like me do tell them at home that education is a scam. Majority of them now believe that education is a scam, in which I've been trying to tell them that education is not. Actually, for me, I'm not thinking of this present moment, but because of the future. Nigeria cannot be going like this. I know one day God will take perfect control. And I think this is what we should do. Once you have the education, tomorrow again, you may have the privilege to become the governor. Then you have to impart the society well.
Though beneficiaries of the knowledge shared by these undergraduates, the forward-looking secondary school students pray for an end to the ASU strike.
I know it's not something easy for him to be at home, but because of the ASU strike, he's at home. And I think because he's at home, he's helping us and he's breeding us for the next session. So it pays to have him around because he teaches well and he's a nice man. Because I'm benefiting from him, that doesn't say I should. Say ASU strike shouldn't be called off.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities embarked on strike since February 14, 2022 over a range of issues, including salaries, a revamp of the university system, among others. But despite series of meetings and negotiation between government and the striking lecturers, hope of an end is what millions of Nigerian students and those affected cling on. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
The world's oldest head of state, Queen Elizabeth II, passed on Thursday, the 8th of September 2022. A reign of 70 years and 7 months is the longest of any British monarch, attaining a record of the second longest serving monarch in history. Joy Pius chronicles the life and times of British most celebrated monarch.
Queen Elizabeth II was born in London in 1926. She was the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York and future King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and was most likely set to remain a princess until she was nudged towards succession by the abdication of her uncle, King Edward VIII, in 1936, when her father, King George VI, was crowned.
To join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
The Queen was married to Prince Philip, whom she wed when she was 21. The marriage stayed solid for 74 years until his death in April 2021. The marriage was blessed with 4 children: Prince Charles, Princess Anne, Prince Andrew, and Prince Edward.
Receive this imperial robe, and the Lord your God endue you with knowledge and wisdom, with majesty and with power from on high. The Lord clothe you with the robe of righteousness and with the garments of salvation.
She became queen at 25 after her 56-year-old father's sudden death in 1952 and began a reign that was characterized by change and moral questioning that probed everything up to the privilege that gave her riches, fine jewelries, and palaces. She made hundreds of official overseas visits to countries like Russia, where her relatives were executed in 1917, Communist China, and the United States, which beat the forces of her ancestor, King George III, in its war for independence in 1783, and Nigeria.
Very wonderful woman. Even though, let me just remind you, even though when military rule was more or less like alien to people in Europe and America, this woman still interacted with military leaders in Africa in making sure that smooth transition was achieved. So that woman in diplomatic circle, she will be remembered as a lover of peace.
She also had a very firm hold on the political atmosphere in the United Kingdom. I think she tried her best to sustain the monarchical relevance in the United Kingdom. She was massive in influence, not just in the United Kingdom, but across Europe and even in countries of the Commonwealth.
She witnessed many new technological advances and a succession of British governments of different political persuasions. Boris Johnson's decision to prorogue Parliament in September 2019, an order approved by the sovereign, was described as drawing the monarch into the most contentious and divisive political debate in recent times. She officially accepted Johnson's resignation just 2 days before her death and invited his successor, newly elected Tory leader Liz Truss, to form a government.
She came to Nigeria, I think, 2006 for Shogum. It was a meeting of head of state of ECOWAS. The woman said one thing. He said, any nation that will grow, that insecurity and economy must be at the forefront. She told our leaders, Obasanjo was the president then. What are we facing today? She was ignored with impunity. And we are worse off. She lost. Do you know that she has almost 16 countries? Her influence. No crisis. There was no balkanization of United Kingdom during her time.
So whoever who sits in an office must go into such an office with the best of mind, with the best of character, and the best of personality. Because an office cannot just exist on itself. The relevance and the importance and the potence of an office
is determined by the occupier. So what this suggests to us is that we must endeavor to put good people, people of integrity, people who are honest and sincere in their private and public dealings in offices, so that when they come to such an office, they can use their personality to enhance the status of that office.
Yeah, traditional institutions give them their role. Let the politicians play their role. And you see, the traditional settings, they won't be overbearing over the politicians. And the politicians should not undermine the power of the. Now, with what we have today, we just have figureheads, monarchs.
The news of her death marks the end of a new Elizabethan era that began when the 25-year-old princess became Queen Elizabeth II on the death of her father, King George VI, in the early hours of February 6, 1952. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
Meanwhile, royal officials say the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II will be held at Westminster Abbey in London on Monday, September 19. Meanwhile, officially, Charles III has been proclaimed the King of Britain. This follows the death of Queen Elizabeth II at age 96. Sunday Kolawole has more on the proclamation event.
With a trumpet fanfare and gun salutes, Charles III was officially proclaimed king at a pomp-filled ceremony at which he pledged to emulate his late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and serve for the rest of his life. A court official wearing a feathered beacon that declared Charles our only lawful and rightful monarch from the balcony of St. James's Palace after a historic Ascension Council meeting of senior royals, clergy and government.
We, therefore, the Lords Spiritual and Temporal of this realm, and members of the House of Commons, together with other members of Her late Majesty's Privy Council, and representatives of the realms and territories, aldermen and citizens of London and others, do now hereby, with one voice and consent of tongue and heart, publish and proclaim that the Prince Charles Philip Arthur George is now, by the death of our late sovereign of happy memory, become our only lawful and rightful liege lord, Charles III.
8 trumpeters accompanied the proclamation, which was followed by rousing 3 cheers for the new king by red-jacketed Coldstreams Guard soldiers doffing the distinctive bearskin hats. Ceremonial gun salutes boomed simultaneously across the United Kingdom, and the proclamation, a hangover from the past where the new monarch needed to be announced to their subjects, was also read publicly in Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales. The 73-year-old Charles automatically became monarch upon the Queen's death, but the centuries-old constitutional formality, broadcast live for the first time, is the latest step in the set-piece 10-day program building up to her state funeral. An emotional Charles set the tone for his reign in a televised address on Friday, in which he hailed his darling mama for her unswerving devotion during a record-breaking 7 decades on the throne.
In taking up these responsibilities, I shall strive to follow the inspiring example I have been set in upholding constitutional government and to seek the peace, harmony and prosperity of the peoples of these islands and of the Commonwealth realms and territories throughout the world.
The new king also named his eldest son and heir, 40-year-old Prince William, as the new Prince of Wales, while expressing love for his youngest son, Harry, and daughter-in-law, Meghan. The move means William's wife, Kate, assumes the Princess of Wales title once held by his mother and Charles' ex-wife, the late Princess Diana. Buckingham Palace revealed Charles and other members of the royal family would observe an extended mourning period from now until 7 days after her funeral. Sunday Kolawole, OSRC News.
And to end the news at 7, another look at one of the major stories. We told you that residents of Ondo State have applauded the state government over the repair of potholes on strategic roads. They have